Good evening, everyone. Ads here from Unity Trading Group. Welcome to your Tuesday night session. It's good to be back for 2021, honestly. We did have a light session on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. Sunday just passed, and it's good to be back in front of the charts and doing these daily updates. Before I start, though, give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and of course, you can tick the little bell to stay updated on all of our bits and pieces over the next coming days, weeks, year, and of course years to come for BTC. For UTG, BTC as well, of course. And before I start looking at the markets, I really want to give you guys a heads up. On Saturday, this Saturday, we're starting our podcast. It's just going to be me, Tex, or myself and Ty. If you don't know our real names, of course, you'll be able to find us on Saturday morning around 10 o'clock Australian time or 10 o'clock Melbourne time, so AEDT time. And of course, we're going to be talking crypto, talking about all the points that you want to hear. So let us know in the Discord, let us know in the comments, and of course, you can be as active as possible in the chat on Saturday. We'll be streaming live on YouTube. But without further ado, BTC, what are we seeing? Where is it going? For BTC, looking at this rejection at the 4618. So 34693 is the magic number that we've been looking at for the past little bit. We didn't specifically say 618 is where we're going to stop, but the 618 is the most relevant Fibonacci level of them all. Of course, we all know that, and that's where we did find our retrace, and quite a heavy one at that. We have made a lower low in terms of this market structure now, and of course, we are moving towards our 30K area or our level of demand. This really coincides very nicely with the Cme chart, which we'll get into just after this. And of course, some of these levels of Fibonacci, or these, especially the 278 and the 3618, is nice for this. And if you haven't used this level or this tool before, it is the trend-based fibs. It can be found just on the left here, the trend-based fib extension, and how you draw this. Very, very straightforward, but we'll be doing a more in-depth video in the future on how to draw this. Swing low to swing high, and then back to the pullback to give us those levels going towards the upside. And of course, if you want to copy some of these settings that we've got, you can pause the video right now to see that. But of course, where do we expect BTC to go from here? Looking at the 3618, of course, we're waiting for this level to be held or to be broken. Look, all the indicators are suggesting that we are on our way towards that 30K mark to give us a rightful decision on market direction. It's looking like the indicators are in that sort of trajectory as well. However, for the side of the bulls, I guess, this level, this 50 RSI median line that we tend to use as support is being tested as we speak. So it can be make or break for BTC and the RSI. This median line hangs in the balance really because it is very, very accurate. You can see just by zooming out, we hang around the 50. You know, we usually trend above the 50 in a bullish market, and of course we usually trend below the 50 if we're getting some harsh pullbacks or starting a short-term to a long-term downtrend. So something to look at if you're not familiar with it. And of course, you can just add a parallel line on the 50 on the RSI to get that data. But I want to have a look quickly at the next chart, which is the Cme chart for BTC. So the Cme chart, basically looking at, we have filled this gap. So there was a gap prior to this from about 29,400 to about 33, and we have filled that quite nicely now. The reason why I say we could be make or break in the terms of BTC's price action at the moment is because we do have a significant gap as well, not far from where we are now at 26 to 23-ish or 24. So that is something that I'm looking towards. As soon as we opened up, or as soon as the Cme opened up, not long after, we did start to fill that gap and pull back. So if we're going to see some more price action like this in the future for BTC, or admittedly, hopefully this week coming into the weekend, the next area of interest would be towards that 23 and of course that 26 area. And that does coincide very nicely, should I say, If I bring the BTC chart back up, from about 23 to 26, we're looking at 23, which would be the 178 there, to about 26, the 2.272, and of course, our most relevant level of demand starts at about 26K. So very interesting price action for BTC. That's the area that I do think it needs to go to. We have been on a very significant run since middle of last year, so it does need a significant pullback, and of course we are seeing the roots of that finally bed in, and of course we could see another lower high before that next leg down towards that next gap. All right, moving on, looking at Ethereum. So ETH in a very similar position, to be honest with you. We did blast past $1,000, and that really impressed me, to be honest. It was just not long ago that we were looking around that 720 mark, or around that 680, and now we've breached and come up and made a large wick or a blow off top around that $1,100 mark for Ethereum. So quite a monumentous run for ETH as well. But looking in the same sort of direction for Ethereum, where we've got a very vicious overbought condition on the steamroller indicator. It is very reliable. If you look towards the other price action to the left-hand side, we've got some decent pullbacks when we do get towards that area of overbought. Not so much the last one, but however the one before, and of course some of the price action in the past has resulted in a decent movement towards the downside for Ethereum on those overbought steamroller conditions. So what's next for Ethereum? Where can we expect this to go from here? Looking like, in all honesty, down towards that 3 area, that 964, and of course we've got a much nicer level of demand. If I just get rid of this one, I've got a much nicer level of demand and I will clean the chart up a little bit, but the most relevant level of demand is around that 780 mark. It's a bit of a stretch down below, I will admit, from here, but I'll be looking more towards these Fibonacci levels for the moment to really gauge where we're going. So what we're going to do in the way of ETH is I'll draw this on the fly. So we'll go use our fib retracement tool from the swing low to the swing high. And of course we are being held up by the 38.2989 for Ethereum. If we're going to see some more downside, I'd be looking for ETH to come and retest this 38.2 and of course underneath break and close, so we can get more of a retrace maybe towards our 50 and 61 area at 883 for Ethereum. So that's nice movements on ETH. A decent wick to the upside, however, that's the one that I'm really most concerned about. So if we are to move and give us some more closure on this pullback, I'd be expecting the 50 and 61 are the ones to be tested for the next immediate move on Ethereum. But the DXY, the last one that we'll have a look at this evening, of course, the DXY is a regulated market. This is not financial advice, just ideas and opinions of Team UTG. And nothing much happening, honestly, since the last time we looked at the DXY. Not a whole lot of reaction. Seemingly BTC's been running to the upside, but not a whole lot of reactions coming out of the DXY. We did bounce quite nicely off this 89.5 area. And of course, we didn't make a higher high. So it does suggest that we'll be moving and continuing this trend down, and we are seeing that come to fruition, directly on the chart in front of us now. So I'd be looking towards that 89.5 area just below us, and of course that magical number, that 50 RSI level, again giving us that confirmation really of that rejection off that level. If we are bearish, we usually stay underneath this zone, and of course if we're bullish, we usually stay over the top of it. If you don't have the 50 drawn in the RSI, I'd suggest you do so, because of course we are moving underneath it and we are seeing that play out very nicely towards our 89.5 area. We will revisit this tomorrow night, however, but for the immediate term, the course of this evening into tomorrow morning, I'd expect this to come down towards our 89.5 area. But that really concludes our update for this evening. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget, this Saturday coming, 10 o'clock Melbourne time, we'll be starting our podcast. Please be present. give us some ideas to talk about. We'll be open and watching the Discord chat and, of course, the YouTube chat for your questions and, of course, your comments. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm Ads from UTG, and I'll see you tomorrow night.